So anyway, I was working in a record shop in Norwich when I was about 16 years old. It was a traditional record shop that sold kind of proper vinyl and had little listening booths and everything. And I worked there for a few years, and I remember one day a guy came in and he asked if we had any records that had insect noises on them. And I'd never really had any dealings with that. I was more into the rock sort of albums and stuff they sold. So I went and spoke to the manager, and the manager said we had quite an extensive collection of vinyl records of insect noises, and he showed me where the area was. And I said to the guy, what particular type of insect noise are you after? He said, well, I'm after a particular album called the Sounds of European Wasps, Volume 2. It's just been released. I was wondering if they had a copy of it. It was on the Parlophone label, I think. So I thumbed through some of these insect albums that we had, and there at the back was an album called The Sounds of European Wasps, Volume 2. So I got it out for her and showed it to the guy, and he went, yeah, I think that's the one I'm after. Still in its cellophane. I said, well, do you want to make sure it's the right album? You can go into one of our listening booths and have listened to it. So I took the cellophane off and led the guy to the listening booth, and he sat down. I put the record on and I queued up the first track and gave him the headphones, and as I was shutting the door, I said, if you have any problems, come and speak to me. And I left the guy, and it must have been only 30 seconds later, as I was walking back to behind the counter, the guy came running out and saying, I think you've got the wrong album. I said, well, what do you mean the wrong album? You asked for it. And he said, well, I've listened to the first track, and it's not the sound of European Wasp Volume 2. Doesn't sound anything like wasp noises. I said, well, I don't really know much about this kind of genre of music. How can you be sure? And the guy said, well, I have a PhD in the buzzing sounds of European wasps, and I've listened to track 1. It doesn't sound anything like the noise that European wasps make. I said, well, maybe it's just a poor quality recording or something. So I tell you what, if you go back in the listening booth, I'll queue up track 2 and you can have a listen to that. So he listened to the second track, and again I walked back to the counter, and as I was going back to the counter, guy came out from the listening booth again. He was getting quite angry now. He was almost shouting at me, saying, what the hell are you playing at? You're trying to sell me an album called The Sounds of European Wasp 2, and the sounds on this LP just aren't wasp noises at all. They don't sound anything vaguely like wasp noises. And as I said, I've dedicated my entire career to analysing and understanding the way that European wasps communicate, and this just sounds like a nonsensical buzzing noise to me. So I went and got my manager, and my manager came in and spoke to the customer and said, well, the LP is the LP. It's called the Sounds of European Wasp Volume 2. It's what you've come in and asked for. Not much more we can really do. So maybe it's the next track or something. Maybe there's just a few bad tracks at the beginning of the album. So he moved the needle on a few more tracks and gave the guy the headphones. And the guy sat there shaking his head, going, no, this is definitely not the Sound of European Wasp Volume 2. And my manager went, do you know what? You're listening to the B-side.